What's going on, guys? A21 Mayo here, and in today's video we are going to be having ourselves another viewer VOD review video. Oh, that was a Claymore. Okay, I thought that was a Sophia Impact. Alright, so let's talk about what you're trying to accomplish here. So, just from reading the way that you're looking at the wall and stuff like that, you're either worried about this little piece of wood catching your nitro, or you're preparing for a nitro cell, for you to throw a nitro cell over the wall into maintenance. Either way, you can avoid this piece of wood, stand to the left, throw it, past this or to the side of it, whatever. Also, you're not positioning yourself in an area where, one, you have the ability to throw a nitro, and two, something that some people might look over in this situation here is the fact that you don't have the nitro pre-ripped. So if you guys don't know what the audio cue of a nitro cell sounds like, I'll play it for you here in a moment. So that little rip there, that Velcro ripping or just a nitro cell ripping, that is the audio cue of a defender pulling out and priming a nitro cell. So if you're wanting to go for a nitro cell over one of these two walls, over barrels or over maintenance is a very common nitro cell to throw from in throne. So if you want to do that, you need to pre-rip it or you need to be holding it in your hand pretty much. So that way the attackers don't hear the ripping sound of the Velcro, and then they can stand back away from the wall. They can, start pre-aiming above the wall, so that way they can, predict where the nitro is going to come and try to shoot it out of the air, which is a pretty common thing to do. But yeah, you want to make sure that you have the nitro pre-ripped, you have it primed and ready for whenever you do need to throw it, because that moment when you do need to throw it could be the difference of you getting a kill or not with it. So you just want to eliminate all of those steps leading up to that point of you throwing the nitro cell. Another thing here is you're not looking like you know what you want to do. Basically, to sum it up, you look lost. To say it like that. I'm not trying to be, a dick or anything when I say that. I'm just saying, you do look lost. Whenever you're on defense or whenever you're on attack, you need to set an objective. You need to keep something in mind that you want to accomplish that can also help you and your team within winning that round. So when it comes to defense, think about where you want to put your utility. Think about what map control you want to hold, stuff like that. Even having a basic layout to your defensive round for you as an individual can help out significantly. So that way okay, if the attackers do this, I respond with that. If I do that, the attackers might respond with this. Do you follow along with what I'm saying? Just have something premeditated out, so that way you know what you need to do and when you need to do it and how you're going to do it and stuff like that. So that way it takes less thought during the round for you to complete and commit to those actions, because they're already thought about before the round even starts. I hope that helps. So I want to talk about a little trick when it comes to Lesion that I don't see used very much anymore. I used to play a lot of Lesion back in the day, but nowadays I don't really see the point of bringing him. I would much rather bring a different operator, just because Lesion is, I don't want to say he's a crutch operator, but he definitely fills the gaps where, defensive teams might not be able to fill the gaps in terms of communication or crossfires or, positioning and stuff like that. So he's really good at filling gaps in that sense. But one thing that I don't see used a lot whenever people are playing Lesion is throwing a goo in the windowsill. So if we look at this, round here for an example, if you throw a goo mine in the window, the attacker is going to trip the goo mine if they don't see it and if they don't shoot it. So if the goo mine is there, they get close enough, they are going to trip the goo. Now, the reason this is so strong is because the attacker has to get off, repel, either go all the way down or go all the way up, which is then going to allow you to rotate around, maybe play close to the window. If they go up, let's say, you can go prone underneath the window, and if they go back on repel and make the mistake of going on repel right above the window, then you can hold that angle and probably get a free kill off of it. But if you want to take someone off of repel for about 8, 10, 15 seconds, somewhere around there, it's a really good way to do so. So that's a very subtle, and I wouldn't say not so known, but I just don't see a lot of people using it anymore. It's a really, really strong little thing that you can do with Lesion, especially on maps like Cafe or maybe Consulate, very repel heavy maps. You can use this trick and it can help out a lot. So whenever someone leaves your window after they got off repel, or that an area of the map like that is clear where someone was on repel and then they got off, run over there, barricade the windows, because there's no other external sight pressure being given by the attackers just quite yet. There's not very much pressure being given throughout the round thus far. So if you go over to the windows, re-barricade them, it can really help out a lot with, if someone does, get back on those window repels, they have to open the barricade again, which a barricade is a notification of a piece of intel where, if someone's in that area of the map. So if someone leaves a rappel and you know for a fact that nobody is on that side of the map or even on rappel anymore, take advantage of that, go over there and barricade it, because in theory, as a defender, you have unlimited barricades. So, it could save a life. It could be the difference of a teammate dying or, you dying or living or whatever it is. They are currently opening initiation wall to... Yeah, you need to pick up on that audio cue there. That initiation, Instead of throwing this goo, by the way, into the doorway, throw it into the breach. You also see how long you expose yourself for, so you got to pay attention to audio cues as well. Audio cues are a great benefit for you. That info really does help out a lot, especially if you know how to use the... if you understand how the audio propagates in this game, and how the audio engine works and where the audio is coming from. It can give you a lot of very valuable information and possibly keep you alive. Because what I'm seeing here now is that, someone might walk through the initiation breach, go into your break room, you don't have any goos on the breach or on the break door, so it could be the difference of, you dying or living. But the biggest takeaway from this portion is to throw that goo on the breach, so that way you know if someone vaults through or not. Ooh, that's a bad habit there as well, is the crouch spam. Do you see how much... Let me just slow this clip down in 0.25 speed, and then we'll look at this. So let's just play the clip here. Do you see where your crosshair is going? Your crosshair went from crouch level all the way to the floor, shooting below her feet, all the way to head height. Not only from recoil, but also you crouch spamming. So that shows how much of control you don't have. You crouch spamming, especially in a game like Siege, where you're changing your crosshair height from, let's say it's standing to crouch height in a gunfight, or if it's crouch height in this situation, you're going to be shooting at her feet. So every time you crouch, you're going up and down, which is forcing your crosshair or your pre-aim up and down as well, which is automatically going to put you in a worse position in a gunfight, especially if the attacker or the enemy, in this situation it is the attacker, the Ash, if she's aiming for the head, then you're automatically giving her a far more advantageous, pre-aim than you have. So you need to understand about these habits that you have, these really hard habits to break. For me, it was, quick leaning, especially when it was much more usable back in the day. Quick leaning was much faster, much more responsive, and it was much more advantageous for you to do. And that was a really bad habit for me. So I had to learn how to break that. Same thing for you. But nonetheless, breaking this crouch, spamming habit can really help you a lot, because pre-aiming, especially on console, I'm sure it's very strong, just because people don't have that fast of reaction time, as well as the ability to be much more precise like you can on PC. So really making sure that you break that habit of crouch spamming, and also trying to, build up this muscle memory of having good pre-aim, because that first bullet is what really makes the difference during a gunfight, because that could be the difference of you killing the enemy instantly in one bullet, or you whiffing, 2/3 of a mag like you did here and not killing the Ash. So, really important stuff to pick up on. They are in sight, by the way. You're going to get shot in your back here. They're planting. Someone's in break. So yeah. It's crazy how I can kind of read a situation like that and predict what happens. So since you didn't put a goo on the breach and you weren't really too worried about it, and you were kind of much more focused on the Ash and that long balcony, that long hallway on Arcade, it allowed the attackers to just walk into sight, into bunks for free. Two things I want to talk about here. Firstly, you have a Jaeger on Arcade stairs, right? From that moment of you fighting that Ash, and previously that Jaeger was on Arcade stairs, and we can go back and look at this. The Jaeger is right here. He's holding this cross. Until this guy leaves, like he did by, rotating like how he did here. When you spectate him, when he goes yellow. Until up until the point where he leaves, you don't need to worry about Arcade Balcony anymore. And the reason for that is because he's holding the cross again, right? So what you can do is you can go play break, hold the breach cross, so that way the attackers don't have the option to walk through the breach into bunk, into break, and shoot you in the back like you did there. because believe it or not, you allowed that to happen. You need to understand, okay, nobody's holding breach. I need to hold this because if I don't, they're just going to walk into sight and shoot me in the back and kill all my teammates and be able to plant, you know, everything that happened here is pretty much what I was expecting to happen from the attackers. So you need to understand that you're worrying about the wrong thing at the wrong time. You should be much more focused on the breach because the Jaeger has your cross. Also, by you going into break, that eliminates the angle of the Ash where she peeked from the arcade balcony, arcade hallway. So now you eliminated the angle from arcade, and you're also now holding the cross where nobody else is holding on the breach here. So you have to die in order for the attackers to, you know, walk you through the bomb site. Also, again, by you not putting a goo down on the breach itself into initiation, that allowed the attackers just to vault in, plant, go through the break room, shoot you in the back. Pretty much everything that I said did happen. So you need to set your priorities during a round and understand, okay, this Jaeger has my cross. I don't need to worry about this, you know, angle, this area of the map until this Jaeger leaves. And then once that happens, then I need to start juggling these different angles, play with audio cues, etc. All right, so let's go over what's happening here. So you're a Thermite. You're the only hard breacher. You're in a solo queue lobby. The reason I know it's solo queue is from your VOD form. And you're trying to hard breach. You were over in maintenance side for a moment, for like the first minute and a half of the round. And now you went over to barrels and you're just kind of stuck. You don't know what to do. If you aren't able to get the wall, go to the doorways. I don't know if you have a mic or not. I would assume that you do because I believe consoles come with mics if I'm not mistaken. But either way, if you have a headset for console, you most likely have a mic. So use your mic. You have Sledge. You have Twitch. You have Zofia. You know, you can go above, get the stuff off of yellow. You can Twitch drone the stuff. You can nade over the wall. Like, you have a lot of different options. So if you want to win, use your mic, communicate. It's not something where you can just expect your teammates to know what to do because they can't read your mind. But if you're put in this situation where you don't have the option to get the wall, then go peek doorways. Like, if you're not going to be able to get the wall open, then your next best option is to go to the split door and the dragon door, because that's all you can do by that point. Or you can go check yellow wall, but I doubt that that's going to be able to be breached because they have a mute and they also have electrification, so they have plenty of utility across the board in order to get all three walls. But either way, like, you're doing absolutely nothing during this round. We're in the last minute of the round and you just now entered the building. Just now. Think about that. That is that's horrible. Especially as an that is absolutely horrible as an attacker. You are most likely going to lose this round. Not only because you didn't get the wall open, and I can understand you might not have that option, but you took absolutely no map control at all. I mean, you have 2 drones as an attacker every single round, so use them. Drone yourself in. Your first drone, you drove it through maintenance into Dragon, into sight, and then it got mute jammed. There's no reason to drone something if nobody's taking that map control. And you clearly didn't because you just now entered the building barrel side. And I don't know where your other drone's at, I forget. But either way, the way that you're approaching a round makes it seem like you just want things to go your way. And this is a huge issue that I see with a lot of low-ranking players where they don't take what is not given. They just expect things to be given to them. It's not how the game is supposed to be played, and it definitely will not get you anywhere when you do play it. If you have that approach, that mentality in the game, then you are just going to be in the same rank season after season, and you're going to be sitting there looking at your monitor. Why am I not improving? Why am I not getting better? Because you're not wanting to take something from the enemy. You're not wanting to do everything in your power to make the enemy's jobs as hard as it can be. You're expecting these things to happen for you so that way you can rank up, you can win games, you can win rounds. It's not how the game is going to be played, and it definitely will never happen like that. Holy smokes, dude. I want to talk about this, man, because this was getting on my nerves here a little bit. So I want to know what you're trying to do here. That's what I want to know. Like, I want to know, I want to be inside your head where, like, standing in front of a doorway on ADS is a good thing. Because, yeah, you know, you won the round, sure, but you won it by the skin of your teeth. There was, I believe, 3 seconds left, 2 seconds when you killed the Lesion. Something along those lines? Okay, so a little bit more. Like, there was like 4.5, 5 seconds, somewhere around there. But nonetheless, standing in the middle of a doorway, waiting for your teammates to die, because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, you know, you sitting in the back line the entire round, pretty much expecting your teammates and wanting, like, just waiting for your teammates to do something for you. This goes back to what I was just saying a moment ago. You cannot have or set an expectation for your teammates or the enemy to do something for you in your benefit. Your teammates, maybe that's a little bit more understandable, but your teammates can't read your mind. You can't set expectations for them to do something for you or your teammates unless you communicate it or they say they're going to do something. Unless one of those two things happen, then there should be no expectation set for them to do something for you or the team during the round. And for the enemy, it is the enemy's job for them to win the same way it is your job for you to win the round. It's the same thing, just on a different side. So why would the enemy do something or make a mistake to the point where you can just, you know, completely benefit from it? You need to make the enemy make mistakes, so that way it makes your job easier and their job harder. That should be the basic approach of every single player in this game, is doing your job as best as you can while also making the enemy's jobs as hard as it can be. That is the base layout for any player who ever wants to play this game ever. So I hope that helps you in your kind of journey as a player. But this in specific, don't stand in the middle of a doorway un-ADS'd looking at your teammates dying. At least be ADS'd, at least be ready for a gunfight, because you definitely weren't. This was much more of the enemies giving you the round, so to speak, versus you winning the round and taking it from them. Because all the defenders have to do here is play safe, either make you go kill them or force you to plant into the negative, which you most likely would have done, and then then the defender just kills you. So this is a huge habit that I see a lot of players have, and even me myself sometimes as well. You know, I make this mistake plenty. Nobody's perfect, and you know, I'm sure plenty of people, pro league players, like everyone makes this mistake of driving your drone into the building, doing absolutely nothing. And there might be the argument, oh, well, A21 Mayo, I need to figure out where the bomb site is. Audio. Oh, I need to see what operators they have. Gun audio. And sure, you can make the argument that, okay, Valk and Warden have the MPX, but what's more common to bring, a Valkyrie or a Warden? And either way, at some point during the round, by you spotting or looking at utility, you're going to know the difference if it's going to be a Warden or a Valk. So the whole argument of I need to figure out what operators they have, I need to figure out where the bomb site is, you can find all of that info off of audio. And if you don't know the audio engine or don't understand audio cues or whatever it is, learn it. Learn the audio engine. It's not that difficult. Go into a custom game. Go into a custom game with a friend. Learn the gun audios. Understand what they sound like. It's really not that difficult. It's pretty much just like studying for a test. Like, all you need to know is what it sounds like, and you're good. When I'm watching you play, I understand now why you don't drone is because you don't understand the value of a drone. Especially as the Thermite or sort of the support operator, it's arguable that a support player or a Thermite drone or a Hibana drone or Maverick drone, a support role operator is much more of an important drone versus like an entry or something like that. At least in my eyes, because on paper, it's very common to see, you know, a support player pre-placing their drone possibly, or droning an entry in. So if they lose that drone during the round, that's going to eat up a lot more time of them having to rotate, throw their drone, you know, into the building or whatever it is to help that entry with taking a piece of map control. But either way, it doesn't matter what role you're playing, what operator you're playing, it does not matter. Understand the value of a drone, because if you do, it will save your ass and your teammates' asses on a flank, on a piece of, you know, map control, on an enemy ratting, whatever it is, more times than you can count if you just understand how to drone and how to use your drone. Because droning in this game is just as much of a skill set or as important of a skill set as shooting the enemy is. Because if you can't win your one on a drone, then how do you expect to win your one in a gunfight if you don't have the info in the first place? Very important. This Claymore does absolutely nothing, and the reason for that is because they can walk into Gong, peek through the doorway, and fry anyone in maintenance.
The diffuser has been secured.
Oh man. I see you doing a lot of face checking. Here's this issue as well of you crouch spamming. I don't know what you got to do in your power or whatever it is you have to sacrifice. You need to break the habit of crouch spamming like yesterday. Like it's got to be done. Because the sooner you do it, the sooner you're gonna benefit from it. But also your face checking and stuff like that, like man, that's also got to be worked on. Because if you die, don't kill that bandit, the bandit kills you. It's a 3v2. Let's say the Valkyrie gets another pick, now it's a 2v2. That's how fast a 4v2 can turn into a 2v2. All it takes is 2 gunfights and for them to win them. Take that precautionary step. Again, understand how valuable a drone is. A drone can be the difference of you living or dying. Understand how important a drone is. And understand how to drone in the first place. Because a lot of people, if they do drone, they just drone because it's what you're supposed to do. You don't know what you're droning for. You don't know why you're droning. You don't know where you're supposed to be looking, what you're supposed to be calling out. It's just like, oh, I'm going to drone because I have it and I know I'm supposed to drone. If you're droning, but you don't know why you're droning in the first place or what you should be looking for, then you're not understanding the value of the drone in the first place. So first step is to understand how valuable the drone is. And second step is to learn how to drone. I hope that makes sense and I hope that helps. Okay, let's break this down. So on defense, you are completely lost. I'm gonna just say it like that. Now, the way that you can fix being lost is to first listen to audio cues, visual cues, all that good stuff. Secondly, overall, use your mic. This doesn't even apply to defense, but use your mic. Start communicating. I don't know if your audio was bugged or whatever it was. You have a mic icon. Everyone else on the team has a mic icon. And that's a clear indicator or not if someone is, bugged or has an audio glitch. So clearly you have perfect working audio. So use that to your advantage. Communicate with your teammates. But back to what I just said. How can you fix being lost? Set an objective for you during the round, before the round even starts. A lot of people use the operator selection phase, the load-in phase, the prep phase, all that good stuff. They go on their phone, they go on TikTok, they message their friend, whatever it is, man. That's all useless. If you're playing this game and you're not invested into it, then why are you playing the game in the first place? Because this game is going to take a lot of time, a lot of dedication, and sometimes even sacrifice in order to get better at it. And if you're not willing to do those things or make those sacrifices, then I'm going to save you a little bit of your life and your time. Don't play the game. Play it casually. Because if you're submitting a VOD, you clearly want to get better. And for attack, you need to be able to improvise and adapt to the situation. So the first time you went Thermite, you were outside of the building doing absolutely nothing for 2 minutes and 7 seconds, I think. When you entered the building, you entered the building at like 55 seconds. If you're just now getting into the building 2 minutes after the round started, then that's a huge problem. And if you can't realize that, then you need to work on it. So the same thing for defense, apply to attack. Understand what you're trying to accomplish. Pre-place your drones. Understand how valuable a drone is. Even save your drone. Take it to your spawn. Pick it up. That's what I do 90% of the time when I play ranked. But also be able to adapt to a situation. Because if you don't know how to adapt, you're just going to be outside of the map like you were the first round of you playing Thermite every single attacking round. And then you're going to be sitting there again wondering why you're not getting better. Why am I not improving? Why am I hard stuck in X rank? Why is my, whatever it is, man. But you need to understand you need to be able to approach the game in a way where you need to make your job as easy as possible and also still be good at your job and also make the enemy's job as difficult as it can be. So that way you're increasing the margin for them to create an error or make a mistake, and then you capitalize on that mistake that they made from you making their job as hard as it can be. I hope that makes sense. That might be confusing to some of you, but that's the ultimate goal in Rainbow Six Siege, is what I just said. So I hope that helps. To FB Lil Giant, I hate your name, but I hope that helps. And I hope that helps everyone else that is watching the video. If you guys enjoyed or learned anything new, I would greatly appreciate a like and a sub on the video. It does help out with the YouTube algorithm also. I also want to mention before I go that I'm doing coaching, so if you guys are wanting a much more in-depth VOD review like this one you saw here today, but that is an hour long, this one's probably going to be roughly 30 minutes on my channel. So if you want double the time and double the information and, you know, the length of the actual session, consider becoming a Patreon or buying a sub over on my Patreon. There's a link to the coaching down below in the description. I also do coaching sessions that is different from a VOD review session. So if you guys are interested, again, there's a link to the Patreon down below in the description. I also want to mention that I have a second channel, so if you guys are interested in more content from me, or if you already enjoy my content and want to see more from me, there's a link to the second channel down below in the description as well as a link to the Wichita Wolves, which I am a content creator for. So with all of that being said, go check out the links, go check out my social media. I would appreciate it. But now that I'm done with all of that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. And I will see you guys in the next video.